Dear viewers, welcome to TASCTV Tea Time. Today we have a very special guest, Mrs. Lolita Zinke, a Wonder Woman in her own right. The topic of the program is Why I Love Turkey, suggested by Mrs. Zinke herself. I met Mrs. Zinke at the Turkish embassy several years ago. She first appeared to me as a beautiful young person, perhaps a graduate student, who loved travel, fun, adventure, totally unattached, a free spirit. Then I met her husband, a tall, handsome gentleman. He was in the interior in the US cabinet, the big job. I learned more that she was the daughter of a diplomat, a travel writer, mother of 3 wonderful children, and a world traveler with friends all over the world. Plus, she's a lawyer. I just want to stop 1 minute and say my thanks to Sevil Altınsoy, who introduced Zinkes to the Turkish-American community and to Turkey. And I really want to thank former Ambassador Kılıç and Mrs. Kılıç for hosting wonderful events at the Turkish Embassy in Washington. And we are thinking the new Ambassador Mercan and Mrs. Mercan will continue with that wonderful tradition. Mrs. Zinke was born in Santa Barbara, California. Her father was Frederick Wilson Hand, and her mother, Consuelo Castro de Mendoza Hand, who was the honorary consul of Peru in the United States. Mrs. Zinke graduated from the University of California, Santa Barbara, degree from California Western School of Law. Her husband, Ryan Zinke, was a U.S. Navy SEAL for 23 years, amazing job, a congressman representing Montana in the House of Representatives, and the Secretary of the Interior. He is now expanding his horizon into new fields. Zinkes have 3 children and 2 granddaughters. Their daughter enlisted in the U.S. Navy after 9/11 and became a U.S. Navy diver. The 3 children are Jennifer, Wolfgang, and Conrad, and 2 granddaughters, Matilda and Charlotte. Mrs. Zinke is a person of many interests, work experiences, and much volunteer work. She was the Red Cross base coordinator at İncirlik Air Base in Adana, Turkey. I guess that's when the attraction to Turkey started. She was a co-founder of Great Northern Veterans Peace Park, dedicated to children's winter sports and education. Founder of Amazon Kids, dedicated to furthering education and prospects of Amazon Basin children by providing computers and tech teachers. Activity, Amazon Basin. And she was on Admiral Borda's staff, Total Quality Leadership Team. She held top secret security clearance. We are not going to ask too many questions about that. She was in antique business with Acanthus Antiques, with buying trips to Paris, antique restoration and sales. She is now in finance as the asset manager of Zinke and Hand families. She was a freshman president of Congressional Spouses Club, dedicated to promoting bipartisan relationships and charitable activities. She speaks English and Turkish in the future. She has been on President Trump's National Hispanic Advisory Council and was a Veteran Affairs landing team member. She worked on all aspects of 7 political campaigns, local, state, and national. And also Veteran Affairs Committee member on veteran families, caregivers, and survivors. No wonder she deserves the title partner in public life also should be partner in political life. Now let's hear what Mrs. Zinke has to say. And thank you for taking the time and joining us at this program. And it's so delightful to see you again.
Merhaba. Thank you so much. Teşekkür ederim. It's wonderful to see you, Oya, my dear, dear friend from Washington, D.C. We really miss being back there and going to the most beautiful embassy in Washington, perhaps in the world, is the Turkish embassy. And what we feel there, the love that we feel from the Turkish people. And of course, Ryan and I, my husband, we knew the last ambassador, Ambassador Kilic and Mrs. Kilic, very well. We became close and wonderful friends with them, and we miss them very much. But right now, both of us are looking forward to meeting the new ambassador and his lovely wife. And I hear that this morning he hosted Turkish Airlines there with my good friend Sevil Altunsoy. And you know the story behind Sevil's and my friendship. We met at the embassy. I believe that you were there at that tea. And she was the one who was responsible for introducing us to the vast Turkish community that resides in Washington and in Maryland and in that area. And boy, have we had some fun times together.
Yes, she was very happy. She still always talks about, and the memories and the trip you took together.
We took several trips together to Turkey, yes, and to Greece.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you were in Adana. I think that's first first time you have been to Turkey, and that's how you started to know the country.
Yes, that was my first experience with Turkey. I had never been to Turkey before. That was in the late 80s. And we lived on Incirlik Air Base. And my late husband was a JAG officer, Judge Advocate General for the Air Force. He was an attorney. And I was working at that point in time with the Red Cross and the field coordinator there for various different activities. And I had traveled extensively prior to living in Turkey, and I love travel and adventure to different places. But when I went to Turkey, I felt like I was at home. I just fell in love with the people, first of all. Like I said, I'd been to many countries prior to that and have met many, many lovely people. But when I got to Turkey, or I realized at that time that the nicest people in the world lived in Turkey. And I couldn't, it's not that I couldn't believe it, but I was just so happy to have such a warm and welcoming reception by the Turkish community. And that's when I began my love affair with Turkey.
That is wonderful. Yes, Turks are very, very warm people. Well, Turks come from this big empire. They meet, they connect, they live together with a great variety of peoples. I mean, 30 or 40 nations come out of the empire at the end. So they just love it. They are, when people go to Turkey, they get a very different idea. Of course, we get a different image in the media and in some political circles, but I guess that makes the Turkish community more active politically now. We are involved a little bit more. So anyway, so after Adana, you came back and you started to. Did you go back again, or did you start going after you met Sevil?
I went, let's see, we started going back after we met Sevil, and I had not gone back to Turkey for many years. And my husband and I decided that we would go back there to spend our 25th wedding anniversary.
Oh, how nice, how nice.
Yes, so we were we went there and we were on the Bosphorus at the beautiful Four Seasons Bosphorus Hotel. Beautiful, beautiful location.
Yes, it's
And
starting down the Bosphorus.
yes,
Yes.
it's a picture of the Bosphorus. That's the fort, the very famous fort, going up towards the mouth of the Black Sea. And we just once again, I I was able to introduce my husband to Turkey, to the culture, to the people, to the history, the cuisine. Let me tell you,
Yes, yes,
everybody
yes,
loves Turkish
yes,
food.
yes,
And this is, I believe that is the Prime Minister Yildirim. There we had a Turkish American conference that we hosted in Istanbul at the Four Seasons. Very successful conference, very widely attended. That's my husband speaking there, pictured at the podium. And very, very lovely time. We've been to Turkey several times, or many times, over the years since we started going back again. And we plan on continuing our trips.
yeah.
There.
Yeah. My brother-in-law was the architect of the Four Seasons. Oh, this is with the THY.
This is the Turkish Airline Corporate Conference with Chairman Il invited us as a guest to the conference. I've been a few times, and I got to cut the cake for the birthday party celebration that they had. This is a picture of my family, my two boys, and Seville and I at the Hagia Sophia. Such a beautiful, beautiful. Breathtaking. It's a treat every time we get to go in there and feel the energy. This is at Demaras. We were traveling with some dear friends, Uğur and Renken, and we had dinner. We had dinner at this beautiful, beautiful hotel in Damaris, and there's a picture. It's just breathtaking, the turquoise waters, and enough about it. It makes me want to be back there right now.
It's like an island. It's a peninsula. It has four seas: the Black Sea, the White. Okay, that's where with the boat in.
That's our dear friend, and that was the boat that we were traveling on. And oh boy, did we have a lot of beautiful adventures and lots of delicious swims in the sea.
But you have to go to the Black Sea part, which I haven't been there much, but it's. And this is
a Bosphorus Yacht Club, okay. And we had dinner there. We stayed the night there. We anchored and met the owner of the yacht club, and he was in the military as well. Oh, there I am on the beach with my son and my husband. That's in Göcek. Göcek is just beautiful. So yes, that was one of our favorite places, although it's very hard to say which is the favorite.
I love that show.
Yes,
so beautiful.
Thank you. It's a gorgeous place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have traveled in Istanbul. Marmara Sea is another very nice area. Is this? Oh, this was it. Was it? This is in Göcek.
This is in Göcek, and friends with the owners of this jewelry shop, and my boys made friends because they found some common interests. But this shop was just filled with pearls and all kinds of different beautiful, beautiful things that they were selling there. And so we and it just once again testament to how Turkish people are so lovely and so welcoming. And of course, the very famous Kebab Hospital, our very favorite place to eat times.
The Turks have amazing sense of humor. Amazing. They have political humor, general humor. It's irrepressible.
Yeah. And here's the famous whirling dervishes. People, and we were able to, this was outside of Cappadocia when we went, and here we are, we're about to see, our tour guide is closest to the camera, and our friend and Ryan and I, and we're very excited because we're about to see the whirling dervishes. And this was the first time that I saw them in person. I had never seen them. Mm-hmm. I'd seen pictures and videos, but I'd never attended one of their performances. And boy, was that special. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah, they are very impressive. You said Zorlu is the last name of your friends? What's the last name of your Turkish friends?
Which ones?
The ones with
Durdu.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Durdu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because families know each other. I wondered if, well, I've been away from Turkey quite a while, so where was the dervishes? Were it Cappadocia? No. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is Conrad. A beautiful, beautiful young lady posing on the end of the boat there, and we're very, very happy. We're cruising the sea there. Stop it. It could have been near Göcek. I can't remember exactly when that photo was taken. And this is a photo, I believe, also at the Bosphorus Yacht Club when we were there. An amazing place. So
there is still a lot to travel, though. It's a peninsula. The seas, the Aegean, Izmir towards north. The Aegean is also beautiful. Oh, this is inland now, Cappadocia.
This is inland, and this was in October. My husband and I were able to. And of course, everybody goes on the famous and beautiful balloon rides that start. You have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I think, but is it so worth it? And you go out to this desert area just right outside the towns there, and they pump up the balloons, and it's spectacular, absolutely amazing. And then you climb into your balloon. And maybe with 10 other people or so, it's a very big balloon basket that they have. And here we are pictured inside the balloon. Yeah, and the balloon operator picture, and they're amazing experts at how, of course, do it every day, weather permitting. Very, very safe, very experience. You don't even know that you're floating until all of a sudden you find yourself up in the sky looking down. Beautiful experience. This is at a jazz festival in Bodrum, and we saw a very, very famous female jazz singer, and she's pictured there on the right-hand side of the photo, but I can't remember what her name is.
Canan Erçetin? Is it Canan Erçetin?
It could be. Yeah, she's
maybe.
Yeah, everybody knew all of her songs. So I did not know her. I could not sing her
songs. I'm on Turkish songs where people sing together.
Yes.
Oh, there is Sevil, our dear friend. What a nice photo.
We're about to go to the jazz concert. We're in we are. This is my Turkish sister, and we're about to go to this wonderful concert. And we had dinner outside, right by the sea. The waves were lapping next to us. And here is our dear ambassador, and there you are. Oh yeah, there's Ambassador Kilic, his beautiful wife, Seville, and I think my friend Lucretia Hummel is pictured on the left-hand side as well. And she's an interior designer in Washington, D.C. So she is doing the University Club right now. And
Gunay, you remember Gunay?
Yes, Gunay, yes. And that's my husband and his beautiful wife. Yes. We're at the Turkish embassy there.
Yeah. There was the dinner. Yes, they were wonderful days.
Yes.
Gunay is the co-chair of this organization now, the TASC. Now this is spectacular. This is another gorgeous.
This is a picture of my husband and I, and it was the first night of President Trump's inauguration, and we were going to one of the balls, and this ball was held at the Union train station, and just gorgeous. This is a picture of us walking to Trump Tower. And this was before, or this was going to the interview for his cabinet position. Pictured with us in the back is Ryan's communication director, Heather Swift. And she is one talented young lady. She's working in the private sector now, but she started in government. And this is a picture of my son, Conrad, on the right. Self, and and we're on the Samsung boat, and we're about to see the very famous race across the river, where I think 5,000 people jump into the water and swim across the river, pictured behind me, and finish.
It is a tough place to swim because tremendous currents between Black Sea and the Aegean. I mean, within Marmara.
Yes.
This is a model.
And the winner that year was female. So she was amazing. But in here, there's Seville and I. We were at the Swiss Hotel in Istanbul, and we were getting ready to go to the chairman Ilker Aysi's wedding. He got married a few years ago to a beautiful, beautiful young lady, and getting ready to go to the wedding. And there they are.
Flowers. Were they real? Were they real flowers, I guess?
Amazing. Absolutely. Just gorgeous. What a beautiful wedding.
Yes, it does. Turks do wonderful events like that. I guess it comes from the Sultan's times. I mean, they love.
And there's my friend with the president Erdoğan and his lovely wife, and he was giving the blessing. Just a very memorable, beautiful evening, matched only by Ilker's bride. She.
You are with the bride.
Yes, celebrating the happy.
Very nice. You went to you saw every face of Turkey.
I did.
In winter is lovely too. Anyway, so this is with your, as I said, the Four Seasons of Bosphorus is it's on the sea.
Yeah.
This is for your birthday, I think,
This is
isn't
my
it?
birthday party, and we had a beautiful, beautiful dance with many of my dear, dear Turkish friends, and I can't wait to see you guys this summer. We're back, and theme is. And this is the Tuzla Yacht Club, where we had dinner with Yildirim and his family, and wonderful and delightful man. He came to Santa Barbara to visit at our home. Yes, yes, he was here with his son, and he and Ryan became very good friends. They're very they love talking about history and about yachts and yacht building. He's a naval the prime minister is a naval architect. I don't know if a lot of people know that.
Very smart, bright man.
Very smart.
He was a prime minister.
This is in Istanbul at a very, I don't know the name of the popular restaurant, and we had a dinner there one evening with some of our friends. And Fatih Devlazar is pictured in the front on the right-hand side of the picture. Very nice man. He is like my Turkish brother, and I love him. So this is at the Turkish conference, the THY conference again, and they're talking about how to better serve the corporate community. And as you know, Turkish Airlines and their flight service is second to none. They are amazing. So
there you are with them.
There we are. Yeah. So
Times started already, but I don't think they're doing their full service yet. It's expanding. It's expanding.
yes, good, good.
This pandemic is just too long to tell
Yeah.
it. Exciting, but not anymore.
So here I am as the Tuzla Yacht Club with the Prime Minister barefoot. So we walked out onto the beach to take this picture and to look at some of the boats out there, and I had high heels on, so I had to take them off, and I never thought I would be barefoot with the Prime Minister, but there I was.
Yeah, well,
That's okay.
It makes sense. If it works, it works.
It works.
And there's Sevil, and is that her father? Is that right?
And her father, yes, her late father, and was such a lovely, wonderful, wonderful man.
I was devastated, I remember.
Yes, and this is my Turkish family, and I am the adopted daughter. So, and Mama is there. You can see Sevil's brothers and sisters, and my children, my husband, and I think the nephew is there as well. Anyways, wonderful.
Back down to the sea again.
Back to the sea, and this is how happy I am to be in Turkey, that I love so much.
Well, coming from Peru, living
Yeah.
in Santa Barbara, you do feel the free
Yes.
life, good
Yes.
air, good food. Oh, there's Istanbul at the back.
Istanbul, this,
Bridge.
my dear friend. Yeah, that's Fatih. He runs an American or English language school also in New Jersey and New York. Very, very smart businessman, very wonderful individual and father and husband. Very, very charming man, young man.
Her name is going to come to me. You look like this very famous.
Oh, yeah.
This film with the chemicals poisoning the river of the village of the town she lives. It was a film.
Yes. Oh, and here, this is in Istanbul, this is at the spice market, the very famous spice market that has been there for how many thousands of years. This market, so long.
Bazaars are at least 500 years, at least.
Yes, they've been there for
that's
such
the
a long
bazaar.
time. And there's a Kapali Çarşı.
They have everything.
I have to say, one of my favorite places on earth to go and wander through the halls, all of the different beautiful merchandise that they have there. It's you can't find any place on earth. It's the original shopping mall. As I like to say.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, there are the boats
on the Bosphorus when they're going to do the 5,000 when they're going to do this swim, and the big boat is filled with I don't know how many thousands of people, and in a minute they're all going to jump into the water and swim from Asia. So
really?
From Asia to Europe. Yes, it's an incredible. Yeah.
This is a difficult swim because I used to swim. I lived in an island, but Bosphorus is dangerous because of the very strong current between two seas coming from Black Sea into Marmara.
Yes.
Vice versa. The upper layer goes one way and the lower layer goes another way. I understand. Very tricky.
And there's so much the container ships that go through the Bosphorus River.
Yes.
It's all day they go this way, and then in the evening I believe they turn around and they go the other way. And to sit there at the bank of the Bosphorus and watch these huge ships that are steered by the captains, then they go, it's amazing. It's absolutely incredible to see this.
There were accidents. They would run into the house for us. It didn't happen too often, but when it happened, it would kill people.
Oh, yeah.
And there were times when they were carrying sheep, and something happened. The sheep fell onto the Bosphorus. And for days and almost months, there were dead sheep floating. And every 5 or 3 minutes, a huge ship passes there. It is after the Suez Canal event. I really cringed thinking a similar thing. It may not be the same type of accident, but it may run into the land, or it's much narrower. There are parts that are narrower. So it's disturbing to see those huge ships going through, but it's very, something is going to happen, it is very scary.
Let's pray that nothing happens, because it is such a beautiful historic site on both sides, and the architecture, the yelens that they have, these beautiful wood that have been there, and the palaces. It is just a sight to behold. It is beautiful.
Unique side. Anyway, so let me ask you, let me see, we have more pictures, but them as they come. So what did you like best about it? What would you recommend to improve, that from an objective point of view?
I can't think of anything to improve the country. I would say one thing that, and I talk about Turkey all the time to my friends, to various different people that I meet and that my husband and I meet, and we talk about what a wonderful and amazing country it is. The cuisine, the architecture, the history, the religious and spiritual significance that Turkey has. I think a lot of people don't realize that there are more relevant Christian sites in Turkey than in any other place in the world. So Turkey, being the crossroad between Asia and Europe, has had people traversing through it for millennia. As a result, it's a varied culture. You find all kinds of different and interesting ideas. But I find that when I start to tell people about my love for Turkey and how often I go there, oftentimes people will say, well, aren't you scared going there? And it makes me sad when people say that, because they don't understand what it's like to be over there. So I think that we need to work, and by we, I mean Turkey and the, you know, and the Turkish community, and myself included.
Yes, yes.
Need to work on our public relations, on the public image, and showing people that it's not you know, any different from any place else in the world that you may want to travel, no matter where you go, even in the United States, Washington, D.C., or in Paris, or any place that you travel in the world. One must always be careful and vigilant and aware of one's surroundings. Situational awareness is what they call it in the military. You have to be aware of these things. But this is all over, even in your own backyard. Yeah, you have to be careful. But I think that we definitely need to work on putting Turkey in a light where everybody understands that it is not a dangerous place, a very important and significant place in the world, historically speaking, and right now, especially geographically speaking, it is a strategic, obviously they're NATO partners, they're NATO. We need to understand how important right now Turkey is, and having a stable Turkey and a very strong relationship between the United States and Turkey is good for that particular region, but it's also good for the entire world. We need to every day strengthen our ties between the U.S. and Turkey, ties, cultural ties, any type of art is our thing. I believe it's very important that we strengthen those and we work on that every day. So that's what I would improve.
Yeah, that is excellent recommendation. Of course, our ties go a long way, starting even in Ottoman times. In fact, there is a wonderful scholar who talks about the Ottomans in the United States, how Turks arrived at early times and the relationship and what they did. And then, of course, we had the Korean War, where we are very closely connected with the U.S. and with the Koreans, and then NATO, and there are very strong ties. I came to the United States with a Fulbright scholarship in 1960.
Yeah.
And I studied in the American College in Istanbul, American College for Girls in Arnavutköy on the Bosphorus, and those ties are just are too strong to to be bothered with everyday political issues which will come and go.
Yeah.
But Turkey's geographical location is really, we are surrounded with trouble.
Yes. It's a tough neighborhood.
Yeah, and you have Russia and Armenia, Azerbaijan and Iran, Iraq, Syria, Greece, Bulgaria, 3 seas. How many neighbors and how many seas can you have? Seas are okay, they are peaceful. Not really, though. Lately, Eastern Mediterranean issue is very bothersome. I mean, you have Greece taken over the Eastern Mediterranean. How did this happen?
Yes.
That is, you just look at the map, you have this huge, and they are squeezed into, 12-mile. The map just tells you how idiotic it is. But I think it will be resolved, and countries are going to work, and things will get better. I'm very thinking if Turkey was to be like Finlandia, worries would be the reindeers and
but Turkey happens to border with Syria, and the whole world knows Syria and the refugee crisis that Turkey has on its border. And I believe one other thing that we can improve on with Turkey is getting the word out that the Turkish government has taken millions of Syrian refugees into their country and resettled them there. They educate them, they give them hospitals and medical attention. They give them food and clothing and shelter. The Syrian people, these poor people whose country has been destroyed, have come into Turkey, and the Turks have wrapped their arms around these refugees and have helped them like no other country in Europe has helped the refugees. And I think that the world needs to acknowledge this and pay attention as to how the Turkish community, how the Turkish government has taken care of these people. And when they don't just sit there and they don't do anything, they're having children as well. Their lives go on. And so this is not something that happens for 1 year and 2 years and then they go back. They're staying there. And the Turkish people are taking care of these refugees. I think that this is something that needs to be broadcast throughout the world. And we owe a very deep debt of gratitude to the Turkish government. And bravo, thank you. Done. Teşekkür ederim. Çok güzel. Very well done for what you have done for these displaced people. It's an amazing contribution. I was working with Ambassador Kilic to take a group of people from United States over to Turkey to go to the eastern region along the border with Syria, in Turkey, not going into Syria, but in Turkey to go visit the refugee camps to raise awareness of this of the very fact of what I'm talking about as to all the refugees that have been settled there and what they are doing, the schools that they have set up, the hospitals, the shelters, everything that they have done, the medical operations that they're doing for when people are injured or they need something. And we were getting ready to go on our trip. We had to cancel because a skirmish along the border. This was last about maybe 16 months ago or so, and so we had to cancel because of security reasons. Unfortunately, it would have. I really would have liked to have been able to highlight the Turkish contribution.
Yeah, well, I hope you can do that in future because, as you say, it is not getting the coverage or the publicity. They show the camps at Lebanon and other countries where, or Greece, and difficult conditions. And the camps they set up originally, I don't know whether they're still there at the border, were amazingly organized, clean, and they really went out of their way. And of course, the economic situation now, the pandemic, being absorbed and given the support. So it is a huge undertaking. And the best thing for Turkey to be recognized is by tourism. When tourism was working well, to New York frequently because my daughter lives there in family, and I would take the public people with bags that say Turkey on them. And it's very ordinary people. And I say, where did you get it? Oh, I went to the store. It was doing so well. Yeah. And then, of course, we had the skirmishes. We had the terror spilling from the south. And of course, we have our own native terror groups, the extremist Kurdish militants, which are much compared to 15 million Kurdish living in Turkey. You can't explain this to the U.S. Yeah. They get carried away. I mean, not to everybody, but to the political and the media. They get, romanticized by this extreme Marxist. Marxist.
Yes.
They don't understand their agenda, basically. And they're small in number. 15 million or even more Kurdish origin citizens live in Turkey perfectly happy. The biggest Kurdish city is Istanbul.
Yeah.
They have the highest. We did a referendum several years ago. It's like how U.S. is, and people are happy here. We have Latinos coming, we have Europeans, we have Middle Easterners. They all come here. They like it here. The economic situation is getting better, that we take them in, and it makes Turkey even more powerful and important if we have all these different ethnic groups. We still have a good amount of Jewish people, which add a lot to the country. A lot of Armenians coming from Armenia, because the situation economically is quite bad, and 75,000 Armenians. And Armenians add so much to a culture, the music, the food, the art, and it blends so well. So there are so many things. There are problems, just like any other country. Yeah. And plus, imagine 100-year-old democracy. Actually, democracy, the two-party system, came in the 1950s. So it's really with the two elections. Until then, the republic was established. It was one-party system until things get stabilized. And then we had the two-party system starting in 48 or 50. I can't remember the election times and the year. And then it's like 70 years of democratic system. And Anglo-Saxons had it for 1,000 years with Magna Carta. And of course, the U.S. is the best example of democratic systems, in spite of all the pulls and pushes, but that's how democracy is. Everybody has to say. It is a little cacophonic, but that's the way it is. People get to say what way. We get carried away with a lot of things. Tell us about Peru. To hear about, I mean, it's probably both the Latin influence and the native influence. It's probably a wonderful mix. Probably it's a lovely country.
Yes, well, my mother is from Peru. She was born in Cusco, Peru, which was the capital of the Inca Empire. And it's when I was young, I would travel as a child. We would spend every other summer down, and my mother and I would go. About a month in Cusco. We would spend some time in Lima. Of course, we would travel to Machu Picchu, to Pisac, Sacsayhuaman, different ruins and cultural. I have an aunt and family who live in Bolivia and La Paz, and we would take a little Lake Titicaca, and we would go to La Paz, and Lake, amazing, beautiful, very interesting place. But I spent a lot of time in Peru and speak Spanish, of course. I grew up bilingual. And one of the similarities between Turkey and Peru is the cuisine. In very, very wonderful Peruvian dishes, very complex in the preparation, and the flavors are just incredible. So people love Turkish, or people love Peruvian food, people love Turkish food, I think, for its complexity. My mother was an amazing cook, so I was very lucky to grow up in a house where we had such delicious food being prepared all the time. But we were there in Peru. The last time we went was in 2020 for Christmas, 2019, and we spent the New Year's Eve going into 2020 And my Turkish friend and Savucu came with us, and I was able to take them and act as tour guide and take them to Lima, to Cusco, and ultimately up to Machu Picchu to spend New Year's Eve there, and show them my mother's country. And it was very, very, very beautiful there. I don't know how Cusco, and they have, as you know, another similarity that Peru and Turkey have in common is the tourism. And we have other industry in Peru as well, but the tourism, everybody wants to go to Peru, everybody wants to go to Cusco and to Machu Picchu. And the artisans that we have in Cusco, or in Peru in general, I should say, just produce amazing, beautiful, beautiful works of art. But you have to have tourism in order for the artisans to survive. And with this horrible pandemic that we're having, these artisans and their livelihood, because if the tourists aren't there to buy the goods and to shop and to go into the restaurants, and then I don't know how that particular part of the economy is doing. Same in Turkey, they have such amazing artisans there. We also, during that trip, I've been to the Amazon several times. My father was a travel writer later in life, and he used to take groups of people to Peru to visit. And then he would go into the Amazon, and my mother was never interested to go into the jungle. She said, "This is not for me. Your father can go." So finally, unfortunately, I was never able to go there with my father. Okay, it's my turn. I'm going to go to the Amazon, and went there to the Amazon basin. And from Iquitos took into the jungle, and stayed at several different lodges, and toured around and camped there, and fell in love with that area. I have to say, Oya, when you're in your cabin or your tent at night, and the lights are out, and you can hear the jungle all around you, and it's almost deafening, because there's everything is alive. Everything that you look at there is alive. And in the morning, when the sun comes up, right before dawn, the birds start to sing, and it is the most beautiful music you've ever heard in your entire life. And when I go there, oftentimes there'll be different activities planned for the day, fishing or hiking or touring or doing a variety of different things. And when I go, one of the things that I reserve for myself as a special time is to just sit in my bed in the morning and listen to these birds. And there's nothing like it in the world. It is amazing. And the food in the Amazon is incredible as well. Varied, fresh fish, fresh fruit, fresh juices from trees and fruits that you've never heard of.
Really?
Oh my gosh, it's
We have to come to Peru with you one of these days.
absolutely, absolutely. I love taking people down there. It's a very wonderful experience, and it's I think it's life-changing. Just like going to Turkey, it's one of those very special places on Earth.
Each end of the world, practically. What is it, like 10,000 miles between Peru and Turkey? It's 6,000 from here, so it's a little farther, probably.
Probably. I know it takes quite some time to get down there, but it's a magical place, and that's why we have so many people whose imaginations have been captured by the history and the culture and everything that Peru has to offer. So
yes, And it is really, I mean, such a contrast of countries, actually. One is the Mesopotamia, Turkish, Arabic, Central Asian influence, and then totally to South America, to Peru. It is really a wonderful, well, you are really lucky, really, to be.
I am. And then, well, here in Santa born and raised. And I ultimately met my husband, who was born and raised up in Montana in Whitefish.
That's another contrast.
Yes. And so we have a home in Santa Barbara by the ocean, of course, a beautiful Santa Barbara coast and our beautiful Purple Mountains.
Yes.
And we also are lucky enough to have a home up in Whitefish, Montana. So we have our beach house and our mountain house. And that's beautiful. That's in over by Glacier National Park, which is spectacular.
Gorgeous. We lived in Canada, and we would drive down to south a little bit, 2 years in Canada. And yes, that area is a different world on its own. It's like mythological. Sky and the land, and it's really a very nice. You've been exposed to multiple, very different places. That's really nice. Let me see what the. And Amazon fascinated me. I just, I'm going to let Courtney know.
Okay.
She's the friend of
Wolfgang. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't want to impose. It's an hour almost, and you have so much to say. We'll do it again after you go to Turkey and come back with new impressions, and hopefully we can meet there and we get at least meet at the Turkish embassy when you come to DC. We need you here. We need you here. And our best to Mr. Zinke. We love him. I have the fondest memories of our visits to the interior at Christmas with the big bear hugging us.
Yes.
And I was looking for those photos. I have them. I'll pull them out. And the wonderful at the interior, and then the Christmas. It really were memorable.
It seemed like the fireworks were right on top of us. We were sitting there looking at them, and they were right there. We had such fun times there.
It was really, I mean, knowing you both was just the best that could happen to us. We really appreciate and enjoy and cherish your friendship and your great love for Turkey, and that is also great. Thank you again. Thank you. Our best.
Thank you. I'm so honored for you to have me on. I appreciate you asking me on your beautiful show. Thank you so much. And
I want to thank the technical team, Doğan Bey, Bülent Bey, and Erkan. They are working behind. We worked on this new computer and make things work without any problem and ahead of time. And thank you again.
You're very welcome. Teşekkür ederim. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.